Yes.
Yes, you are. Okay, hi, my name is Tiheba Bain. I am executive director and founder of Women Against Mass Incarceration Incorporated. We're located here in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Absolutely. My name is David Heppard. I'm the executive director of Freedom Project. I'm also a credible messenger and on the board of What's Next Washington.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, Tahiba.
yeah, and I'm also on the board of What's Next Washington. Sorry.
No worries. I'm Sue Mason. I'm co-founder and executive director of What's Next Washington. I am on the board of Women Against Mass Incarceration, and I'm also on the board of Freedom Project. And we're here today to talk a little bit about why we do that. We're all busy executive directors. We have a lot going on, and we sit on each other's boards. We support each other, and we're just really interested in each other's success as leaders and as organizations. So I'm just wondering how you guys feel about the work that you do and what it's like to collaborate with other directly impacted led organizations.
Okay, well, I'll start. The work that I do is great. It's phenomenal. Here in Connecticut, there's not a lot of talk around formerly incarcerated women. We're actually like the lowest on the totem pole here. And when I realized that, I said something had to change because after I spent time in prison myself, and I came home and I was like, there's nothing out here for women. And mind you, I started in New York. But I realized New York is so concentrated and I couldn't even get an apartment. So I had to move to Connecticut where my kids were to then commute back and forth. And that's when I realized the disparities of women here in Connecticut and what's out here for them. And that's when I said, you know what? I have to do something about it. And I came in like a whirlwind, some would say, talking about women and girls. And why isn't anyone talking about them? And you guys need to be ashamed of yourself because we are the fastest growing population to enter into the prison. How dare you not bring us to the table?
Mm.
And so I made room for myself at the table. And I now sit on a commission for the Lieutenant Governor's Women's Commission of Health and Safety. I also sit on a commission, the African American Commission for the General Assembly. And I'm bringing all my knowledge, know-how, and wisdom there to both of these tables. And I'm talking, and again, it's not about us as a whole because they have a division. Well, let's talk about professional women. So you're saying formerly incarcerated women can't be professionals. So now it's like my cup is full because I come at them in a ways when you tell me something, I say, here I am. When you say something, I say, here I am. When you try to say something negative about a formerly incarcerated woman that served multiple years in prison for whether it be violent or nonviolent crime, I say, here I am at your table talking to you. And they look at me like, oh, well, we can't say that anymore. So I'm changing the narrative around that here in Connecticut. Organizations here trying to get them to understand that the women issues and situations and concerns are not the same as men, and you have to organize and program and make it fit women and not men.
Mm.
So when we come home, we don't have to work as hard.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I hear you. It's hard. I remember getting out in 2003 and there was nothing for women. Nothing. David, what's going on for you?
Yeah, I just wanted to make space for that powerful share. Thank you, Taiba. I really appreciate that work you do. That's
Thank you.
no, appreciate you standing in your power. I really do. But yeah. So me personally, young, came up in a lot of trauma, got thrown away at 16, forever, and it was my community, right, that helped me heal or start my healing journey. So I really value community. I know the power of community, and after 24 years, after the juvenile research came out and it afforded me the opportunity to petition for my release, and I was inevitably released, right? It was my community that embraced me and helped support me, and that's the work that I'm in now. It says executive director, but I'm really just part of the community trying to play whatever part I need to play to help solve the problem that impacts the people I care and love most. and that's the community I come from. And so that's the work that I do. And and even when we collaborate on this, and from this perspective with Tiheba and with Sue, I think that what we're competing against is the nonprofit industrial complex. I don't feel like I'm a part of the nonprofit industrial complex. I feel like my organization is community centered, community driven. And the second that I can't hold on to my values, the values that are shared in community, is the second that I'll probably not be in the space anymore. But and so I appreciate that holding on to those community values is what we do on this level, in this stage, and being able to support each other in the work, understanding that the problem has to be dismantled and it's going to take all of us to dismantle it, that we can't do it. You can't be successful in silos. And so for us to come together as a collective to do this work is how we do it in community. And we understand how empowered and powerful that is when our community comes together. And so trying to recreate that on a different framework and reframe what it looks like to be supportive to our community without succumbing to the nonprofit industrial complex, which is steeped in dominant culture and in harmful and impactful ways. And so I think that's from my perspective. My perspective is continuing to expand our community out and support each other and ensure that we can all show up in the way that we need to show up for our community, because that's who matters. Who matters is who we fighting for, not me having a title. I heard somebody refer to this as a career, and I was like, this isn't a career for me. You know what I mean? I didn't practice and go to school to do what I'm doing now. Life left me no other choice by slapping me in the face with oppressive conditions and circumstances and a 60-year sentence. So I understand what that feels like. And I feel like the work that we do because we have to. Because only then, when we dismantle this machine, can we even talk about what I want to do as far as a career. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I can do, but I don't feel like I'm afforded the opportunity to do that because our community is under fire, it's under-resourced, and I mean, you know, if you take a step back, it's like we're still living in the 1950s. So it's, you know, so that's how I feel. I appreciate, we do this work in community, and I appreciate the support and being whatever support that I can give.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's so funny. I too am a reluctant executive director, right? I love being in community with you guys. I met Tiheba, the National Council of Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls had a training about 5 years ago, and we met there. And we've been friends ever since. And David and I met and we became friends first. And it's about relationships, right? It's about being in relationship with each other, having the same sets of values, prioritizing those sets of values, even when people don't want us to, right? It is, I started this organization because I had to, I feel the same way, like as David and Tiheba, it's like, what's out there? If we don't come up with these solutions, the same people who created the problem are going to come up with solutions over and over and over that don't actually address the problem, right? Which is incarceration and racism and colonialism and capitalism and oppression and patriarchy. And, that's actually the root of it. And we want it to be, something else, but that is it. And so the thing I love about being in community with you guys and working alongside you guys is that I know that you share my values. And I know that for me, as a white woman in a space that impacts mostly Black, Brown, and Native people, like I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to offer. I have a lot to learn. And we get to share the journey together, right? And so I bring to the table what I have, and my friends and my colleagues support me on the journey so that I can get a deeper understanding. And I mean, what more could you ask for in life, right? What more could I ask for than to not just, like, we're colleagues, yeah, but that's not the foundation. I would give that all away to maintain the relationships, right? So yeah, right. So that's why we support each other's work. That's why we care about whether we're funded or not. That's why we share donors. We help each other with grants. We help each other with moral support. We show up for each other. We invite each other to, other things. I mean, like, we are really in doing the thing, and also running our own organizations, right? So this is a pretty cool ride. I'm glad to be on it with you guys. And I'm going to click the stop button now.
Why? That was so beautiful.